What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, June 8th. Hope you guys are doing well. We're live, and we are live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Let me pull this open here. If you're newer to our show, you can text the letters WUL to 813-296-8553. You'll get a little text message reminder every single time that we go live. I can actually show you exactly what this looks like. Here was yesterday's text message. It's pretty simple. You just get a little text message. We don't try to sell you anything. And then, you can, I just tapped it. Boom, there it is. You hit play, you're shot right into Facebook and you're live. Well, I guess you're tuning into the live. You're not actually live. No one can see you. And, if you show up in your underwear, that's fine. So we are pumped to have you all with us, and we've got a fun and exciting show. We're going to chat a little bit about how the legendary marketer education has transformed the lives of Lisa and Lance, and talk a little bit about what they do and all of their businesses. So we would love to we also have another special guest who's going to pop on as well, which we don't typically do, and I'm excited about that. So we are joined. Let's bring on our guest. And before I bring on our guest, can we do a little hand clap emoji just to welcome in Lisa and Lance? Lisa and Lance, how's it going?
Morning. How are you?
Morning. Doing well. It is beautiful. Actually, I shouldn't say it's beautiful. It's hot here in Phoenix. We're expecting like 107 today. It's going to be pretty brutal. But yeah, it'll be fine. So, when we go live with clients and people who came into our community and ended up having success, we typically don't do this, but I'm going to bring on a guy who is, I think, pretty instrumental to your success, but I'll let you guys actually confirm that. Daniel is here with us. Daniel's one of our
Daniel. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lance.
Nice
How you
to
guys
see
doing?
you.
Hey, what's up? I've actually never met Daniel like officially. I don't know. We haven't actually like met face to face. We've been on different meetings and stuff, but I just wanted to bring him on because he recommended that you guys come on the show, and that was one of the main reasons we reached out and said you guys have a cool story to share with us. And so, how was your guys' time with Daniel? What was that like? And then Daniel, maybe you can share a little bit about your experience with them too.
Well, I'm the one who met with Daniel,
Cool.
and I did, of course, the challenge, and so meeting with Daniel, very transforming. He used a lot of language that was, action oriented and very personable, and he actually just meeting a person of legendary helped me realize that it was a real authentic group of people. And then also we just got to know each other in a different way. I even shared my husband's story with Daniel and what he had gone through in his life experiences, because Daniel shared a little bit about himself with me. And I was like, you know what, Daniel, I'm going to share a YouTube video of my husband in an interview. And it was, he had said it was impactful. So, that's basically the communication that you get when you go into one of these, into the community is, it's very transforming.
Cool. That's so cool. Daniel, and when you're working with them and working with most clients, what's that been like? And there's a lot of people on here who have never met a business plan advisor. I have no idea what you do. Maybe you could tell people in a minute what exactly it is you do and how you walk people through. And then what was your experience chatting with Lisa like?
Well, excuse me. As a business plan advisor, my main objective is just to really guide, advise, listen, and just give you the best direction to know how to do it the right way, right? And do it the right way the first time. But working with Lisa was actually touched a little bit of home, because She has such an inspirational story with Lance, what he's gone through. I have a very similar past to that, and overcoming those objections in life was really very inspiring for me. And then to hear the story come to light of how amazing that they're doing, I couldn't couldn't be less than anything but happy for them.
Super cool. I love it. Daniel, you probably have calls to get on and stuff. I'm gonna let you hop off. I just wanted to bring you on and surprise you. So thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for everything.
Appreciate it. Well, cool. I'm glad that he got to stop in. That was awesome.
That's so nice.
So you guys found us, found Legendary in, like, I don't know, way back in June of last year. So I think it was actually, I looked, and it was almost a year ago to this day that you originally found us. And tell us about finding us. And then I don't know if it took a little bit of time to get into our program or to start the training, but tell us just a little bit about how you found us, first of all, and then what happened after you purchased our course, and how did that whole process shake out?
So real quick, when the situation happened, I was laid off from work.
Okay.
And it was only like for a month that I was laid off. Lance continued to work because Lance is an addictions counselor at a prestigious recovery center here in Southern California. So he continued to work, which helped us.
Cool.
He's been through a lot. I mean, Malibu fires, burning through all the addiction treatment centers. So he was like home a year prior to that. And so we've been through a lot here in Southern California. But anyhow, so after about a month, we were considered essential, and we were told to go back to work because I'm in the supply chain, food supply chain. And when I went back to work, pretty much like 1 out of every 3rd person went back to work. And I'm in my late 50s, and I'm personally speaking, now to this day, I'm just exhausted. I'm tired. Yeah. It's physically, it's laborious.
Yeah.
And it's been like that ever since. It's really hard to find workers. But regardless of that, so about a year passes, and I'm telling myself mentally in my head, there's got to be an easier way. There's got to be an easier way to make money. There's got to be an easier way.
Sure.
And I went online on YouTube because I'm a big YouTube watcher, and I watch YouTube all the time. And I typed in how to make money online, came across a gentleman who did a 30-minute video.
Yeah.
Broke it down into 10 different ways to make money online. Said, wait to the end because I got the best one for you, my top 10. And it was 15-second free leads challenge. And he didn't make any grandiose claims. He just said, follow what they do, and you will end up making money. And he said, but you have to follow it to the T. So I signed up. It was like $1.
Yeah.
So after I signed up for the $1, I was like, it doesn't really cost me that much to like just, pad it up a little bit. So I also purchased something else. But what he didn't say is when you sign up for TikTok, because that's the 15-second free lead. When you sign up for TikTok, don't get distracted, which I did. I spent the whole summer like this.
You got a mean case of scoliosis.
And my thumbs are not that strong. I'm not at that generation, you guys have powerful thumbs.
Right.
So it was like squirrel, so so as the summer months came, it was getting harder and harder to work. And that's when I started checking out the 15-second free leads. They showed you everything, like how to take a portrait, a profile picture, talked about all the details. Anyway, going on to that, I then realized I was getting emails from David Sharpe about other, options. And that did have the 15-day challenge. And around October is when I just point and clicked, and I just took the challenge. And that's when I met Daniel at the meeting. Wow. And it took me a while after that because I was in my head all the time about, I got to get this. I got the structure done first. And on Christmas Day, I told my husband, I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I put my first video out and like fingers on the screen. way.
Nice.
But I said, show up every day and you never know what happens. So I'm close to
Cool.
7,000 followers, and it's it's organic traffic.
7,000. Wow, that's
Close to
super cool.
And I post once a day.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty amazing, actually. Um, and how long ago did you start daily posting ish?
Oh, on that day.
Oh,
So if
wow.
I show up once a day, there might be like I make a couple times I've made a couple of mistakes where I thought I posted, like we were boarding on a flight and I go, okay, great, I posted it. Show up later on that next day, I'm like, dang, I didn't go through. So there's those things that happen.
Wow.
But once a day, it really does help, just to show up and put something. Every now and then I'll do a couple of times a day. But I know my limitations and I know me.
Yeah.
If I go full gangbusters like 7, 8 times a day, or like people say, if you want to get, a lot of traffic, I'm going to suffer with burnout and you probably won't see me anymore.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
totally.
and I've always said this, and this is actually my tagline, that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Ooh, I like that a lot. That is something that if you were to look into the sort of background behind the scenes in our company and Legendary, we operate with the phrase basically just Lord, please just don't let us F this up. Like that's kind of the mantra that we've taken on. Just don't F it up, you know? Um, and what we mean by that is it's a marathon, not a sprint. Every day we come up as marketers with these crazy ideas. Oh, wow, we could change our whole business. We could do all of this stuff. But the truth is just kind of showing up every day, being consistent, taking action. Um, uh, Taking meaningful, hard action, but just being consistent and showing up every day. There's a lot to be said about that. Especially it's amplified in an industry like ours, where you might get a lot of people who are always launching new courses and here's the hot new thing. And we decided to take more of an approach of selling information about a business model that has really been done for a long, long time. Like I
Mhm.
started doing this 12 years ago, and it was different. I mean, we didn't have TikTok, but we had blogs and we had, forums and I don't know, weird stuff. But it looked different, but it's still been the same exact thing that I've been doing.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's cool. That's cool. And I'm guessing you've learned a lot and also probably grown a lot in, showing up consistently on social media after, never really having much social media presence. Like,
Well,
how have you grown?
Well, what's happened is not only I could see what I didn't see before, and that's through the knowledge that I've gained from the blueprints,
Yeah.
but also just the association with Legendary.
Mhm.
Um, you know, like I said, I was a big I'm a consumer. I was a big consumer of content, and I would watch. And then I even went on people's Patreon, and because I liked their channel, and so I would support
Oh,
them on Patreon, right? But I never made the connection that that's an income stream for them. Or
yeah.
click the link below. That's an income stream for them. Or
Mhm.
we're going to do an unboxing today because we got a lot of gifts from our fans.
Right.
That's an income stream. And
Right.
you going into this Legendary and training, you learn a new language and you learn a new perspective, and you start seeing what you've always seen, but you never really saw it.
Yeah.
And and now I'm like, this is possible. This is an asset. The
Mhm.
the emails is an asset. you know um
Yep.
the platform and the evergreen traffic, you don't learn that language. This is all new language that you learn. So the
Mm.
evergreen traffic, that's an asset. You start listening to some of the people that you like. I follow Adam the Woo on YouTube, and he did a chat, a walk and talk, and he talked about how he's been posting daily on YouTube for 10 years. And the man, since he started posting, for 10 years, he's got all this evergreen tiles on his page, He makes his money on AdSense. He makes his money on a few merch things, and he doesn't work for anybody. He works for himself, and he's 48 years old. He's going to be 50, I think. And he's just got 500,000 people following him, and daily people come in and see they could see a tile or a caption from like 5 years ago, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And it's just constantly running.
Yes, all the time. It's evergreen. So I show this sometimes. You said something that I talk about so often. But you said something about here, I'm gonna share my screen here real quick about making money with AdSense and stuff like that. This is the part of the business that a lot of people don't think about when they're starting some sort of content creation, but this might be hard to see, but you don't really need to see it. It's this guy is Zach George, and lots of people know about this guy, Zach George. He does dog training, and you know, I show this in the Decade in a Day. Sometimes I'll do a search for dog training or something like that, and usually when I do a search for dog training, one of his YouTube videos will come up, and in particular, one of them is from 2013, I think. And that thing just lives on the first page of Google for one of the most hotly searched. I had never clicked on a video either, so it wasn't like they were remembering that I like him or something.
Right.
And also a guy named Judd Albring. He's really popular on YouTube. He spoke at our last mastermind. You know, he was talking all about how people were asking, well, how, you know, what other streams of income can you do or whatever? And I think Judd has, about 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he said, you know, I do about $95,000 a year in just getting paid from YouTube. Just getting paid from YouTube. Like, I wouldn't even have to sell anything or put any links in my bio or anything. And I could basically making $95,000 a year. But he makes those, you know, when you talked about the 20, 30-minute video kind of thing, like he makes longer style content. Some of them he's got a 51-minute video, long stuff like that. But people forget that if you can get good at creating content, especially on YouTube, you can monetize all of that content. Like people, you can just forget about selling anything else, which you should, I think. But some people just don't want to. Some people just, like what you said, that really stood out to me was he doesn't work for anybody. He's not reporting to work for anyone. He's sitting at home in his sweatpants in his kitchen. He showed us one of his first videos. Here, I don't know how I got on this rant. I'm sorry, but
We're open to it.
He sorted his videos by oldest to newest, and he just wanted to show us, you know, hey, look, like my oldest first videos 3 years ago are kind of crappy.
If you're still trying to figure out how to start an online
I'll
business
show you
or how to get people to actually buy from you over the internet.
Funny. He's like, look, I'm sitting in our kitchen in our tiny 700 square foot apartment in Chicago. We've got kids' stockings up here. I got kids' toys piled up behind me. I got a dog bed down here, and I'm sitting here in a little V-neck, and I got a pen here, and I'm off and running, and I don't care at all. I just hit post, you know? And, I find that funny because it just boils down to getting started, showing up consistently every day. And he's obviously been really successful with us right now, but, and with other stuff. I mean, he also promotes things like ClickFunnels and software tools and all kinds of stuff. So, anyway, I don't know how I got on the Judd Albring rant, but here we are. So you guys are also, you do, Lance, a little bit of work on like YouTube and things like that, or on a podcast, I think, YouTube on the Brain. Tell us a little bit about that, and how did that start? I'm so curious.
Well, you know, about 11 years ago, I came home from a staying upstate, for those that know what that means, you know, and didn't have my compass. I didn't know what direction I was going to take, but I knew I wanted to be responsible. So I had a little, you know, kitchen job and then a maintenance job. And then because of I've been sober 29 years.
Wow.
And I wouldn't say just sober, because the people that taught me how to find my way back from that darkness were really good. And it was like being taught by a master how to grow up, like
Yoda.
Having the best dad ever, you know what I mean, with superpowers. And it was like, I love you, but I'm going to tell you a truth that you're not going to like. But if you follow my direction, you're going to have an amazing life. You know, because a lot of times we don't want to hear the truth and we shy away from it. But we know, like, somebody's telling it from a place of love. You can't run away from that because they've got your best interest. And so I came home and I was working for maintenance for a friend of mine that owned a treatment center here in Culver City. And he was like, you know, you're going to school for this counseling thing. Today you're a counselor and I'm going to give you a caseload and get to work. And it was like, okay.
Okay.
And, you know, it's not, I wouldn't even call it counseling. I would just call it life mentoring. And it goes beyond alcohol or substances, because anybody can get sober, but not a lot of people know how to live a good life. Especially if you've been using for 5, 10, 20 years and you get sober today. It's like Buck Rogers in the 25th century. What the hell is this? And a lot of people don't understand that aspect of learning how to live a healthy life and be inspired and find a purpose and passion and live and believe that you can actually achieve it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had really good success with a lot of the clients for like the 4 years that I worked there. And I usually got a lot of the guys coming home from prison or jail, or the failure to launch kids that come from the rich families in Beverly Hills, because they just needed some love and direction. It's kind of funny how you could get a guy straight out of prison and a kid out of Beverly Hills. It's a failure to launch, and there's not a big difference.
Wow. Yeah.
And teaching them how to live their lives was a passion. It's what I do to this day, even when I'm working in a treatment center. Because I don't really talk a lot about drugs and alcohol. That's easy. We get that. But how to live life is a whole other level, and live life and let go of the past narratives that, like, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, or mom did this or dad did that. And you got to get out of that narrative to see today and have a life.
Yeah.
So I left there because I was a little egotistical at my success and thought I'd be a high muckety muck at a treatment center, and found out they were doing shady stuff. You know, there's people like that in the universe, and made a decision that I'm not going to have my name attached to something that doesn't have integrity on it, because that's what I stand for. So I quit with no parachute.
Wow.
And yeah, exactly. Like, okay, how am I going to pay my bills? But
right.
I had built relationships with people, which is really the most important part, I think, of anything we do in your industry or my industry or in life. And I called a friend, and she was an old supervisor who knew me. And I said, do you know anywhere where there's any work? And she goes, well, do you know how to do process groups? And I'm like, no, of course. You know, conversation is really the essence of everything we do as people, to learn and grow. And so she goes, well, you know, I'm out at Cliffside here in Malibu, and I can give you 3 groups a day and pay $100 a group. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm in, right? You know, like, that beats $18 an hour.
For sure.
And I've been at Cliffside probably now 6 years, 7 years.
For a while.
Okay.
But in the interim of all of that, and a lot of changes happening in life, just like David, right? Is your partner David?
Yeah. Not, he's the founder. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, he had that rant a while back on the set where everybody was trying to calm him down because he wanted to burn buildings down around those pools that were fucking trashy. Excuse my language. But
oh, he doesn't mind. I don't mind.
I'm just saying that I got him 100%, because just like in your industry, there's a lot of people that are all about the money and not about the clients and helping them grow better lives.
Yep.
And I've watched that over the years in the industry I'm in. And I mean, I think in my industry, it's a little bit more heartfelt, because we're not just talking about taking advantage of people for their money. These people are on the verge of overdosing on fentanyl or dying on the streets or hurting their family again. And it's just something that's been a passion for me to really step in and just be the best I can be there. But I'm growing I have a company I started 3-4 years ago, and it's hard. It's not, I'm on my own trying to figure it out, but I watched Lisa. I'm inspired by what she's doing with you guys.
And now we're getting to the whole thing about YouTube and TikTok.
But yeah, but
he's doing it now.
Yeah. I had a guy, I hired somebody, a coach out of Florida, who helped me, like, I guess, get comfortable with myself on a stage.
Cool.
And I think that's a really big part of it, because, you know, you got to have a presence and know who you are. And I'm not an egotistical guy, although I probably could be if I wanted to be. But I'm more about helping people. It's like, it's not an ego thing. It's a spirit thing, you know, because 29 years ago, I was in an ADSEG cell in a prison with no hope of ever coming home. And said a prayer, like, on my knees with snot coming out of my nose and crying profusely, thinking I was going to die in prison. God, I can't live a decent life and continue to do the things I'm doing. Help me. And everything has changed since then. And me sitting here, I could get emotional, so I'm going to maintain it a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay.
But me sitting here is a result of a lot of people who God has touched and inspired to change. And I'm just an echo in that journey of many others before me. And everything I have is a result of all those people, Bill, Bob, and even the people that came before them that did the help of helping other people. And so now I'm sitting here today, and my company is called Life Over Addiction. Obviously, we get addiction, but what about your life? And creating content that helps people connect to life. And it's more than just getting sober. It's about transforming your life. It really is like letting go of the things that haven't worked and stepping into something new and unknown.
Yeah.
And I'm really big on changing the narrative that we have a conversation with ourselves about, and teaching people that they can live in today and have a better future. Yeah. So I have so many things on the plate, but I've been consumed during COVID, working in Malibu an extra day. So, I mean, I tell the clients to have a balance in their lives, but we're doing a scheduling the other day, because I'm teaching them how to do scheduling. And I give them a calendar, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I fill mine out. Monday. Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about the other day. The calendar.
Yeah.
Why don't you make a calendar? Why don't you make a journal? Why don't you make a program? You know, and this is something that you can launch on your channel.
Totally.
This is something you can launch as a platform, you know, and that's where, you know, you can actually have a way to transform other people's lives experiencing something very similar. His story is not similar to a lot of people, but
I'm doing this calendar. I don't want to lose my train of thought here.
I like it. I love it. I love it so much.
Calendar with the clients, because, you know, I'm not going to ask them to do something I wouldn't do. And I realized that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days a week, I've dedicated 4 hours a day to traffic and commuting through LA, and 8 hours to a company that's not really, I'm making somebody else's dreams come true and not mine financially. And so I made a decision in the past 2 weeks to take that extra day I've been giving them back, to move that resource of time into writing the book I'm working. It's not a book, it's a workbook.
Yeah.
But that, and creating content and working on my website and on the YouTube and the TikToks and all this stuff, because I'm learning that exposure is a very, very important thing to get yourself out there.
Right. Taking action.
And so I'm on a podcast with a gentleman where we interview a lot of people that have had a lot of life experiences, whether it's in prison. We just got done doing one with Theo Fleury, the hockey player.
Yeah.
He's amazing. We had a great hour-long conversation with him as he's driving through some outskirts of Canada in the woods somewhere,
Yeah, I was in the woods.
Fading in and out. But, in talking about my friend Mark, who's one of the co-founders of the largest blood gang in Los Angeles.
Jeez.
And how he's helping transform lives today in Pasadena. I do groups on Wednesday night with him over there with gang members to help them see a better life. It's very active, but I'm also going to do a podcast for my own company. We're setting that up.
Yeah, we're setting up our space
and
for
it's
podcasts.
It's about creating something, because I'll tell you this, and I'll let Lisa get back in here. In an industry where we help people sustain better lives or find sobriety and build lives, on a good day, long-term sobriety is what we want. We want a better life. We want sobriety and a better life. On a good day, most treatment centers' success rate in that spectrum, including AA or NA, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't like this, but it's just factual. At the best day, there's a 15% long-term success rate. Now, you got guys that keep coming back, which is great, but just overall, somebody that says, I'm done, I want a better life, and I'm stepping into it, a 15% success rate. I'm disgusted with that. And I get it. It's both, and it's the clients and the facilities.
Sure.
But if I'm a heart surgeon and you're coming in for heart surgery, and I say I have evidence-based practices, I have the best staff, the best facility, and I sell it.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, what's your success rate? And I say 15% on a good day. You're not going to let me do heart surgery on you.
Right.
Yet we're selling that agenda, and it's became more about making money and the quick fix of getting people sober, but we are not really addressing the long-term aftercare and things. And that's where life over addiction comes in. Because if you have a loved one that's in treatment, and you just spent $35,000 or $40,000 putting them through 30 days of treatment, and on the back end they get a pat on the butt and good luck with the therapy that, or someplace they really don't know.
Right.
It's and no wonder they keep relapses. It's like prison's recidivism rate is about the same, which is sad. And so here I am saying, for $2,500 a month, I'll walk with your loved one.
That's his coaching.
I'll walk with your loved one for $2,500 a month, which is not much considering what you just spent.
Right.
To help your loved one navigate and have a plan and a goal and a schedule and stay
after
on
the
point.
fact. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To live their life and step into that world that they don't know, to navigate the mediation with the family and loved ones, with themselves and work. And right now, that's a really big void, unless some companies are saying, man, I'll work with you, but you got to sign a document. We're going to be there 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. We're going to make sure you get good meals to your therapy, to your IOP. And that's $45,000 for 3 months on a contract. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Well, it's not.
But that's everywhere too, because my wife worked in a mental health practice, and same thing. It was an inpatient an inpatient place where people who had tried to harm themselves would come in and spend a week there. And it's sort of like that, rehab facility or whatever, where there's intensive care, there's some meds, there's some, get people stable. Right. And then after that, it's like, hey, nice little pat on the back. Hope it goes well, and they refer people to outpatient and stuff, but, getting insurance involved and getting all this stuff, it's like, how much hope and how much real help is being given beyond that. I relate with that so much, because guess what? The I don't know what their percentage is, but their percentage of people who are coming back with another attempt or, another threat to, overdose on pills or something, same thing. It's happening all the time. I feel like just stepping in there and doing that, or providing that what a vision to see the exact solution that needs to be there. But also, I just wanted to say that that's really cool that you actually are executing on it, because there's a lot of people that I know who sit in your role, or people who worked with my wife, who they just talk about that a lot. They just talk about it a lot. And, yeah, they don't really do much, if anything, about it. They just sit and complain about it. Like, hey, what a problem we have. What a problem that exists. What a problem. And at some point, somebody's got to be like, hey, look, like, there's a clear solution here. Let's solve this. And
or
then the other thing,
solution. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that came to mind too is just how, if you've ever seen on TikTok or YouTube, I mean, the amount of channels and videos and content that are centered around people who have gotten sober, and just how viral and how powerful some of that content is. I mean, I've seen comments where people are talking about how, one single video, they were, half a bottle deep of Jack, and they were like, they would just watch one video and something clicked. And I've seen people who are a year sober, 2 years sober, from the moment they saw a TikTok video, which I'm sure isn't super common, but still, when you really think about it, it's like, we have this opportunity to sort of intercept people. I always think of marketing as like the ability to just sort of, intercept attention and just sort of step into their train of thought. And you can just, somebody's just sitting here, like Lisa was, just scrolling. And just one message, the way somebody says something can just immediately have like a, whoa, I'd never thought of it like that. And it would be just such a shame if people who are experts in certain things, or have had crazy life experiences and have grown and become new people, if they didn't share those. Not everybody's going to share their stuff, but I mean, you hired a coach and you got all of this. I mean, you've got this new business running. I'll just tell you that, man, Dave said something at our mastermind that I thought was really impactful. He said, people don't need more training. They need to hear more stories.
Yeah.
They don't need more training. They just need to hear more people's story, and because the stories transform people, the life experiences, on my knees, snot running from my nose in prison.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit where people are like, oh man, yeah, I feel like I've been there before,
Yep.
And you could give them all the training and calendars, which the calendar is great too, all of that stuff. But when they connect with something like that, man, that's really transformational.
And when you're doing it with them, that shows action. You're doing it. You're guiding them, taking them by the hand, And I think there's like the actor's rule. I'm not an actor. I live in Los Angeles, and I don't have a headshot, but everybody seems to have one. But there's that breaking that veil, right? I guess there's like a rule where you don't want to. If anybody out there knows what that means,
that's therapy. Yeah.
But TikTok breaks that. And you really expose yourself. I'll show up with like a zit here and a grease stain on my shirt, because I just finished cooking, all kinds of stuff. And, there's no rules really, except
there aren't.
Watch your language. But, I don't think that's a rule either.
Well, and you said something that, the motto in my company and in my life, and Lisa will tell you, if we're out in public, I'll just talk to anybody if I get an opportunity. I just conversate. My whole principle and what I believe in is let's start a new conversation. That line is really what it's about. Because the old conversation, if it's not working for you, why are you keeping it?
And
that reminds me of I was just gonna say, that reminds me of my wife's a therapist, and we would talk about this thing called narrative-based therapy, which is, it sounds almost exactly like what you're talking about, which is beginning a new conversation that's not centered around shame and guilt and all of the past baggage, but what if we retold a new story? What if a new story started today? How does that sound? And I love it's so I don't know. I think for different people, different modalities are important, but man, for whatever reason, even just hearing about that therapy modality for me feels so empowering. I'm like, oh yes, let's start a new story.
Yeah, it's kind of like I can let go of that and have something new. It's like, thank you. You know, it's like I tell them that narrative that we've had our whole lives is a prison we've created. And I think of the movie Shawshank Redemption, and the clients love this because that's one of my favorite movies. Is that
you did a TikTok on that?
We create this prison, or it's imposed on us by family or environment or trauma or life, and we walk around in this self-imposed prison, and it's almost we become comfortable with it because it's the known uncomfortable. And we've learned to survive and live with it, like that Linus blanket in Charlie Brown. And it's like it stinks and nobody wants us around, and we're miserable, we're hopeless, we have no passion or purpose. It's like, somebody shoot me, please, or a bear eat me in the woods.
Yeah.
And it's like I tell the clients, getting out of where you're stuck is not going to be easy.
That comfort zone.
But a lot of uncomfortability for a short period of time to get your freedom from that place.
Yeah.
What's the value of that? And I said, in that movie Shawshank, the guy had to climb down and break a shitty ass pipe and crawl through 500 yards of shit to get to freedom. And that's really the way. There's the only way out for us. Is to say, okay, and make a decision for our lives moving forward. And going forward means I got to clean up a lot of stuff and leave it in the past. Learn how to, like, it's a narrative that's like a book that doesn't have the emotional content that it once had anymore. Once you do the work, it's there, but it's like, okay, it's there. I'm here today and I'm thriving, and that's what I want my life to be about. And when people can connect to that, man, there's nothing like, I can be tempted by a lot of things. I will not compromise. I will not compromise my integrity that keeps me out of that prison.
Just like me as well. I have a lot of workplace trauma. That I've actually had, you know, kind of like hidden. I've held it in. And just posting and sharing my story, a lot of these memories are starting to come up, and starting to go, you know what? I think I should do a TikTok or a short on workplace trauma. I bet there's a lot of people who don't even know that they have it, you know? And if they can identify it, I'm helping somebody and adding value into their life.
Wow.
And the magic is, how do you do that in 30 seconds or less?
But Lisa's a good example. With this is,
you guys are the place I go.
Lisa is a great example of what I just shared about with Legendary and what you guys are doing with her. It's not about the money. That'll come if it comes or not. It's not about TikTok. It's not about all those things. It's Lisa was in a prison with this trauma, with this concept of, I don't know what I want to do. I don't have anything.
For years.
She was stuck in a prison. And now I see her, I come home, she's in her little office in there by the bed doing TikTok stuff, or she's like working on something.
You have a purpose now. I have a purpose now.
She's inspired to live today. And that's the most important part of all of this. Everything else that comes out of that is gravy.
I think that's why I do one TikTok a day, because I'm present. Like what I put out, I'm present. I'm thinking about it. I'm doing something. I'm writing it down. And then, you know, and there's no such thing as a flopped video. If you show 100 views, that's 100 people.
Right.
Okay. That's a lot of people. So, you know, some people can't even fill a restaurant with that many people. So, you know, the thing is that is, if you have an impact on one person's life, you've doubled the value of your life, you know? So there's no way. And I would not have done this if I had not just literally, I'm not selling the 15-day challenge. I'm just saying, if you want to transform and find purpose, there's little gifts in there all the way along that you get, and it has an impact on your future.
Wow. You guys are cool, man. You guys are just cool. I like you guys a lot, and you guys have a lot of wisdom and experience. I feel like that all of us can get a lot from. What do you guys have for let's see, for social media? I mean, you want people to follow you on TikTok? Is that a good spot for them to find you?
Yeah. Life Over Addiction, in between, like life_over_addiction.
Cool.
Damage Done podcast.
Yeah.
The Damage Done podcast.
For me, my website, lifeoveraddiction.com, there's a link on there where people can go. They can click the link. It sets up like a free consultation. No money,
Cool.
for like 10, 20 minutes to see if it's a good fit to help you or your loved one. I
Cool.
mean, it's because it's not for everybody, and not everybody can afford it. I understand that. And I'm actually can have a sliding scale depending. But those are the two key pieces. I mean, the website and the link set up a conversation, which is what it's about.
And we're working on the funnel, guys. He's
Well,
still learning, like,
it's
Don't put too
it's a
much
work.
on me, all right?
yeah, and that's how
One
we are.
step at a
Don't
time.
put too much on me, man. I just, I made the video for the funnel. I worked on that for so long, and then I was like, oh, crikey. I did it in the TikTok style. Now I got to do it again. It turns my head. I'm like, oh, God. Don't put too much
Shoot it
on
all again.
Decade in a Day. I was watching Decade in a Day. Like midway through, I was like this.
Yeah.
Like, my brain, the language. I was like, huh, what happened? Where am I?
Yeah, it's like beginning algebra, and they start putting X's and Y's in the math equations, and you're like, dude, what happened to like 4 times 4? Like, what is going on? This doesn't make any sense. Well, cool. And then Lisa, is this your correct TikTok?
Yeah, Lisa Wright 888. And I'm starting another one that'll be coming up, but that's not a marketing. That's going to be lifestyle.
Awesome.
People ask me every day about my hair color. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go put something on about lifestyle and things like that. And I got to lose weight. My health's not that good. So the doctor put me on a weight loss plan.
Well, you can bring all of that together. All of that stuff can be brought together. And, yeah, you can absolutely do that.
6 months transformation. 6 months.
a lot of you want to know a funny here's I'll wrap up with this, but here's a really funny example, a creative example of how people have tied together things like making money on the internet and health.
We
like
upload videos on a daily basis.
Look at
videos that will inspire health and well-being for
everyone.
everyone.
122,000 subscribers.
Our main focus is,
and most of his videos are like he's done a lot with shorts recently, but most of his videos, yeah, here we go, are like 5 early cancer warning signs, or like how home remedy to treat toenail fungus, and weird stuff.
Welcome to Healthy.
His name's Chris. We've had him on the show before, and he says financial concerns impacting your health, this may help. And he points people to our company and product. And he was trying to figure out a way to monetize this channel. He makes money from YouTube, obviously, but he makes all the videos himself. He does all the editing, and he just finds 5 foods that you should eat if you want to lose weight or something.
Right.
But he connected that all, and he makes a decent little income from just not decent little. I mean, he just makes a good income from his YouTube channel. He's got some affiliate stuff he does too, but there's I just think I like when people do things that are creative, a little bit outside the box, because he's super interested in health stuff, but he's also really creative as a marketer and loves marketing and enjoys that aspect of it. But anyway, you guys are a blast. We're coming up on almost an hour, so I'm going to let you guys go for the day. And anytime that you guys would like to come back on, I mean, if you guys are making breakthroughs, starting new things, coaching things going great. We would love to have you guys back on. And I'd especially love for you guys to meet Dave and share a bit about each of your journey with him as well. And so just reach out to Roxy and maybe in 60 days, 90 days, we can have you guys back on.
That'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Have a great one. Take care.
You too. See you. All right, guys. So you can follow Lisa and Lance right here. So Lisa Wright 888. If you're just listening, it's Lisa WRIGHT 888. And then Lance's is life_over_addiction. And you can go there. You can find all of their content, get in touch with them, let them know what was powerful today. We're a wrap for today, Wednesday, June 8th. Dave will be back here tomorrow and Friday. And have a good rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 10.